In Gambia, 8 people have been arrested, detained and tortured since the beginning of the month as part of a crackdown on homosexuality by the Gambian authorities. Amnesty International are calling this state-sponsored homophobia, which is in direct violation of international and regional human rights laws. I'm joined over Skype by Amnesty's West Africa campaigner, Francois Patoel, to find out more about these homophobic arrests. Good morning, Francois. Have there been any more arrests in Gambia this week?
There has been a wave of at least 8 people in the Gambia since the 7th of November. And these are people who are targeted solely because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. This comes amidst a climate of fear for the LGBTI community inside the Gambia, where there were a number of homophobic statements made by the highest authorities of the country and a number of laws adopted which further criminalize homosexuality. This is really outrageous because it goes contrary to all the international human rights obligations of the Gambia, including a resolution that was passed at the African Commission, which was very strong earlier this year, which was very strong and which called on African states to protect people who are attacked on the basis of their sexual identity, sexual orientation or gender identity. So we've documented at least 8 cases since the 7th of November, but another source has come forward yesterday saying that there were 5 arrests on Tuesday and another arrest on Wednesday, bringing the numbers potentially to up to 12 people. So the wave of arrests is continuing, which is extremely worrying considering the fact that the people are being detained at the National Intelligence Agency headquarters in Banjul, an institution which is known to use torture inside itself. So this is extremely worrying.
Francois, do you guys have proof of torturing taking place, and what kind of torturing methods are they carrying out?
Certainly. So at the National Intelligence Agency, the detainees are being kept in a cell which is completely dark, where there is no window and there is no light. And they've been kept there for several days, which constitutes sensory deprivation, which is a form of psychological torture. And they've also been beaten in order to extract confessions of homosexuality and to extract information about the identity or whereabouts of other people who are suspected to be gays and lesbians. There has also been rape threats. So the detainees were basically told, you need to confess that you are gay or lesbian, or we will introduce a device in your anus or in your vagina to test your homosexuality. This constitutes a threat of rape. The Special Rapporteur on Torture, who was visiting the Gambia just a couple of weeks ago, was denied access to the National Intelligence Agency and to some of the detention centers, bearing a lot of criticism criticizing the Gambia for not allowing him to get access to the detention centers to investigate reports of torture, and expressing real concern that Gambia is used consistently in detention. Torture is used consistently in Gambian detention centers.
Francois, now these attacks, this persecution that's being carried out, it clearly is unconstitutional. I mean, what are the I believe Gambia has passed what's being coined as homophobic laws, but to this extent, it does seem like it's really unconstitutional behaviour that's taking place.
I mean, certainly the homophobic, the state homophobia in Gambia is well documented, both in terms of the statements that are made by the highest level of authorities in the country. I mean, the president has repeatedly come on national television comparing, for instance, homosexuality to a satanic behavior during the anniversary of his 20th anniversary of his rise to power, just earlier in October. He compared homosexuality to a satanic behavior. He also compared homosexuality to malaria and said that gays should be treated like mosquitoes. This is still in 2014. Another national official of the ruling party compared homosexuality to crimes against humanity and said that gays should be killed. So you have there already the homophobic statements, which are backed then by the adoption of homophobic provisions. So homosexuality was already criminalized in Gambia since 2005, but in 2014, Gambia introduced the Criminal Code Amendment Act 2014, which creates the offense of aggravated homosexuality, which increases the sentence from 14 years in prison for an homosexual act before to life imprisonment. So this is extremely serious, this is extremely preoccupying, and it certainly goes against all the international human rights obligations of the Gambia, including regional human rights obligations, such as the resolution of the African Commission, which was calling for the protection of people who are attacked on the basis of their sexual orientation and gender identity.
No, of course. I mean, this that was a landmark ruling that took place, the African Commission. Why are Gambian authorities being allowed to get away with this? And I mean, what are entities like yourselves, Amnesty International, how much power, how much influence do you have to make a difference there? I
mean, the Gambia is a small country, and it doesn't have a lot of strategic resources, so it's often difficult to put it on the agenda of world media and the agenda of international organizations. But I think this is changing this year with the continuing restrictions on freedom of expression, with the harsher and harsher legislation which is being adopted against LGBTIs. You know, this is really, we can see that the pressure on Gambia to change its attitude and its behavior towards human rights is really changing. We hope that this is going to have an impact on the presidency. The president has been in Gambia for 20 years, and this is now a crossroads for the Gambian regime. The Gambian regime needs to change and needs to take human rights more seriously and to protect people and to protect the rights of its people, including lesbian, gays, transsexuals, and intersex people.